What's up, YouTube? This is MathWiz97 and welcome to episode number 15 of my WWE 2K16 universe mode. And we're here with the first edition of Monday Night Raw following the SummerSlam pay-per-view. And making his way down to the ring to kick off this episode is none other than the super athlete, Rusev. And Rusev, he's here tonight. Well, he stated earlier on before the show that he is going to boycott Monday Night Raw until he gets the title shot that he deserves. Rusev, of course, defeated Dolph Ziggler, the then World Heavyweight Champion, a few weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. And he did not receive the title shot that he feels he deserves. Well, tonight, Rusev, he's coming down to the ring, and he demands to get what he deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the general manager of Monday Night Raw. Not only that, but I am the advocate for the new WWE Champion of the World, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Last night at SummerSlam, my client single-handedly brought Friday Night SmackDown to its knees. And just as I predicted, the SmackDown general manager was begging me to trade Brock Lesnar to their show. So that's what I did. But for a hefty price. You see, not only did I secure myself the next 2 free agents, but I also brought over someone from their show. And that's where you come in, Rusev. You want your title match? Okay, I'll give you a shot. But only if you can win a #1 contenders triple threat match against the rated R superstar Edge and the man standing right behind you. Oh my god, Rusev! Rusev, look out behind you! That's Randy Orton! The Viper! Randy Orton! Strikes with an RKO to Rusev. Oh my goodness. Paul Heyman has brought over yet another huge superstar from SmackDown. I mean, you have to look at the list of talent that has just come over to Monday Night Raw recently. Finn Balor, Hideo Itami, and now Randy Orton can be added to that list. What a shocking development that has just taken place to kick off this episode of Monday Night Raw. Welcome back, folks. Here we are. But before we even get into the meat of this episode, if you haven't seen SummerSlam already, what the heck are you doing here? Go watch it. This video's got spoilers galore. Just go, watch it now. You should have already been doing that, but if you haven't, do it now. Do it. Just do it. Okay, so looking at the match card we've got set to take place, Heath Slater. He's doing double duty, taking on Finn Balor and Hideo Itami. We also saw it'll be Emma going one-on-one with Brie Bella. Dean Ambrose scoring a win over Booker T. And in the main event, as was just stated moments ago by Paul Heyman, it will be a triple threat match to determine the next #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. Who's going to be facing the big guy at Night of Champions? We're going to find out as Edge takes on Rusev and Randy Orton. And we're kicking this episode off. Well, I guess we've already kicked it off, but the first match, the first official match for this evening, it's featuring the one-man rock band, Heath Slater, baby! That's right, my man Heath Slater. He's here on Monday Night Raw. And Heath Slater, he is very frustrated, to say the least. He's very frustrated after a lackluster performance at SummerSlam. That's putting it lightly, I suppose. Heath Slater involved in Cesaro's United States Championship Open Challenge Championship Scramble match. Well, I mean, he never really set foot in the ring, to be honest. I don't know if you can really call that being involved in the match. He was basically just there for a couple seconds. Sami Zayn took him out. Then, just as he was starting to get back into things, Cesaro took him out. And really, Heath Slater, he didn't see the light of day at SummerSlam. He just never got the opportunity. Unlike this man, who makes his first appearance here on Monday Night Raw, his Raw debut, Finn Balor. Finn Balor, on the other hand, unlike Heath Slater, had one hell of a presence at SummerSlam in that championship scramble match. Finn Balor, the first man to answer the challenge, to answer Cesaro's open bout, and he squared off one-on-one against Cesaro, even scoring a pinfall over Cesaro in that matchup. For a long time in that match, Finn Balor was the interim United States champion, but unfortunately for Finn, it just wasn't meant to be. He ended up losing to Sami Zayn. He took a pinfall there, and by the end of the match, Cesaro had regained the title and retained. So again, I gotta give huge props to Cesaro, not just for the amazing performance that he put on in that scramble match to be able to walk out with the title, but the fact that Cesaro initiated that match all on his own to entertain the fans and to prove himself, his dominance as a champion. I have to applaud Cesaro, and I'm really grateful for that match that Cesaro was able to give us at SummerSlam, and you have to give credit as well to all the challengers involved. Finn Balor, Hideo Itami, Sami Zayn, and yes, even Heath Slater. That was one heck of a match at SummerSlam, and it really stole the show. So I gotta say, between all 5 of those men, mostly the other 4 not involving Slater, mostly the 4, that was a great match. But even so, Heath Slater, he was there, he was involved. Kind of, yeah. Well, anyway, as we get this matchup underway, it is Heath Slater and Finn Balor locking up. So Heath Slater, he was incredibly irritated with his performance at SummerSlam. So tonight he stormed into Paul Heyman's office before the show, and he demanded that he be given an opportunity to face one of these new rookies. He wanted to try to put them in their place tonight on Monday Night Raw. Well, Paul Heyman was feeling generous, and he gave Slater not a match just against Finn Balor, but he gave Slater a match against Hideo Itami as well. So Slater tonight, he's got a huge opportunity to really put these rookies in their place. Not only can he defeat Finn Balor, but he can defeat Hideo Itami later on. So Heath Slater, he's got a good opportunity tonight to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But right now, he's got to get past Finn Balor, as Balor, with a double knee gutbuster there to Heath Slater, as he goes off the ropes, and a beautiful dropkick right to the side of Slater's head, as the one-man rock band gets knocked for a loop. Balor with the cover, but Slater kicks at it too. Finn Balor, like I said, he put on a tremendous performance at SummerSlam, and like I said, at one point, he was the interim United States champion. Not too many people, heck, really nobody, since Alberto Del Rio at Elimination Chamber, has been able to bring the fight to Cesaro and gain the upper hand like that. Finn Balor, he really is the last time Cesaro took a pinfall, and even, Elimination Chamber, it was a submission at the hands of Alberto Del Rio, but since then, Cesaro has rarely taken a pinfall, if ever. Cesaro has just been unstoppable recently, and the fact that Finn Balor, in his first ever appearance on the main roster here in Universe Mode, Finn Balor able to go down there, oh, what a Pele kick there to Heath Slater, clocked him square in the face. But the fact that Finn Balor just, in his first few moments in the WWE, was able to bring the fight to Cesaro and pin him, that speaks volumes for the potential of this young superstar Finn Balor. I said it last night at SummerSlam that this man is a future world champion, and with the performance he showed at SummerSlam, you can't deny that, not in the slightest. As Heath Slater tonight, He really is taking a beating at the hands of Finn Balor, as Balor now puts him in position. Oh, and this is going to set him up for that shotgun dropkick. The back of Slater's head bouncing off the second turnbuckle. And Balor follows it up with a hesitation dropkick, which can only lead to one thing. Balor scaling the ropes. He's up on the top, and he's going to set him up. Coup de grace! Finn Balor connects with coup de grace, hooks the leg. 3 count. There it is, folks. That's ball game. Finn Balor wins in his Raw debut in dominant fashion, making quick work of the one-man Southern Rock band, Heath Slater. Well, Slater, not the greatest of luck in his attempt to teach this rookie a lesson. No, in fact, Finn Balor teaching Heath Slater a lesson in humility. As Finn Balor, he manages to score a huge victory. But it looks like this second match that Slater's scheduled for tonight, we're not going to have to wait. Hideo Itami is making his way down to the ring right now. And Hideo Itami, I was talking all about Finn Balor, but Hideo Itami, he had a huge performance, a huge presence, if I can even talk right now. Hideo Itami had one hell of a performance at SummerSlam in that scramble match as well. Finn Balor, he may have gotten the shock value of being the first one to come out, but Hideo Itami was the third man to enter the scramble. The first man really, once the match had begun, to make his way into the match. And Itami, right off the bat, brought the fight to Finn Balor, to Cesaro. Hideo Itami really inserted himself in that match in a big way. And Hideo Itami, with those furious strikes, Heath Slater's going to have to watch out for those. And that's if Heath Slater, if he even knows where he is right now. I can see him standing outside on the ring, or outside of the ring. But Heath Slater, he's got to be feeling wobbly after that match with Finn Balor. As Hideo Itami and Heath Slater squaring off here. Well, Heath Slater, he's certainly not lacking in bravado. But Hideo Itami, he's going to have none of that. That's not how Hideo Itami rolls. He's not about arrogance. He's not about putting on a flashy performance. He just goes out there and he gets the job done. As Hideo Itami right off the gate with this flurry of offense from Itami. The educated feet, the bare knuckle shots, the forearms, the elbows. Anything Itami uses, he can use his entire body as a weapon. And you see Itami's fired up. Hideo Itami, he is ready to make his Raw debut tonight. And I imagine if this is anything like Slater's previous match with Finn Balor, it's going to be a short outing tonight for Heath Slater. Though I guess combined between the two matches, Heath Slater, he's putting in some work tonight. You have to admit that Heath Slater, the fact that he lost to Finn Balor, he just competed in a grueling match with Balor, and now he's got to square off against Hideo Itami? Heath Slater, the fact that while he may be arrogant, he's still staying out in that ring and standing his ground. You have to respect that from Slater. Although at this point, it does seem as though he's merely just a lamb bred for slaughter. As Hideo Itami, with these strikes of his, just really, Slater can't even get going. He can't mount any sort of offense here. Hideo Itami, he's just too much right now. As here we go, there's a shot to the gut, a couple slaps, a backhand. And here comes Hideo Itami with these kicks. And one more drops Heath Slater. Hideo Itami, he has got Heath Slater reeling as Slater trying to get back to his feet. He doesn't even know where he is. Hideo Itami with a single leg dropkick right into the mush of Heath Slater. There's the 3 count. And much like Finn Balor, Hideo Itami makes quick work of Heath Slater tonight. So Heath Slater, not the greatest of outings for him tonight. Back-to-back losses for Slater, and coming off of his performance in the championship scramble, well, it's going to be back to the drawing board for Slater. He's got some work to do, to say the least. But as for Hideo Itami, brilliant performance tonight from Itami. And it's just like I said, he goes out there and he gets job done. Nothing flashy. He just goes out there, does what he has to do, and he gets ready, set for work the next week. As now we're going to move on to the second matchup of this evening, as it is Emma, set to go one-on-one with Brie Bella here tonight on Monday Night Raw. Yes, Emma, of course, involved in that Battle Royal for the Divas Championship back at SummerSlam. And Emma, of course, even before that, was involved in the Triple Threat at Money in the Bank. But on both occasions, Emma just came up a little short of the mark. Last night, Emma was eliminated. She wasn't even a part of the Final Three. She was taken out of the match and unable to capture the Divas Championship. But tonight, she's got a good opportunity to put the brash, arrogant Brie Bella in her place. And I have a little more confidence in Emma that she can get the job done than I did Heath Slater earlier on. I mean, I know Heath Slater's my man. He's my bro, but I gotta be honest. Emma, she's gone out there and proved that she can back up what she says. She's a little more reliable than Heath Slater has proven himself to be in this series. Whereas we're looking at Brie Bella, a very game opponent for Emma tonight. Brie Bella is a former Divas champion, and she defended her title back at WrestleMania. She was the Divas champion, winning the title in a triple threat against AJ Lee and Summer Rae. Of course, then it was Brie Bella who went on to lose the title to Paige, and that's really how Emma came into the picture. The Bella twins, they had set their sights on Paige, Emma making her debut, and really forming an alliance with Paige. And that's what allowed Emma to really break through in this Divas division. Perhaps some people may say that Emma was riding the coattails of Paige when she first arrived here to Universe Mode, but I don't think that's the case at all. Emma, she just happened to have a good friend in the right place. And Emma, it's not like Paige was winning all the matches for her. Emma was going out there whenever she had to compete, and she was getting the job done on her own. So I don't really think you can make the claim that she was riding the coattails of Paige. There was just the fact that Paige aligned herself with Emma to really give herself, just to even the odds, because the Bella Twins, the Funkadactyls, whoever the case was, just sort of ganging up on Emma, and the odds were really stacked against the newcomer at the time. Paige really was just evening up the odds and giving Emma a fair shot. So I wouldn't really say that Emma was riding the coattails of Paige. And she has proven herself that she is one of the best divas we've got in this division. The fact that she has not won the Divas Championship doesn't really quite equate to the stance that Emma has in this division. She really is one of our top contenders for the title, even if she has failed on 2 separate occasions. You also got to think that neither of those matches she was in for the Divas title were one-on-one opportunities. There was always somebody else there that could get in Emma's way, so she never really had a fair shot at the title just yet. But look at this submission hold. Beautiful execution there by Emma as Brie Bella all wrapped up there, all twisted out of place. And Emma, she definitely does. Her expertise is in submissions. Oh, wait a minute, Brie Bella with the inside cradle. She blocked the suplex, and she almost rolled up Emma there for the 3 count. But it was enough to disrupt Emma's momentum. And now here comes Brie Bella on the offensive, bringing the fight now to Emma as Brie Bella throws her over there into the ropes. Big kick to the gut as Emma now dropped to a seated position. Here's Brie Bella. Vicious knee right there by Brie Bella. And that's the type of aggressiveness that I believe Brie Bella lacked when she was the Divas champion. And no, not quite though. Does she have the victory over Emma? Only a 2 count. Brie Bella, she's going to have to do more than that. But Brie Bella, when she was the Divas champion, I feel as though she got incredibly complacent with her position. And that's why I feel she lost to Paige at Extreme Rules. She underestimated her opponent, and perhaps a little too cocky with her own abilities. But Brie Bella, you can see tonight, she really has upped her game in recent months. I don't think the Brie Bella who was Divas champion back at WrestleMania would have pulled off a vicious knee like that, or even that monkey flip in the corner. And off the top! Well, that's certainly something Brie Bella would not do a few months ago. Attempt a move from the top rope. In the end, she paid for it tonight, but I rather like her initiative. But Emma, oh, the Emma Might sandwich. As Emma, with that crossbody into the bottom turnbuckle, she just laid out Brie Bella. And now she could be closing in on the victory. As look at this, Emma. Oh, she's got that submission hold applied, and she's got her arms hooked underneath the chin of Brie Bella, and now wrenching back. Brie Bella, she's got nowhere to go, trapped in the center of the ring, and Brie Bella's forced to tap out. Emma scores a victory over the former Divas champion tonight. And that is a much-needed victory there for Emma. If she can keep her winning ways, she might just get that singles championship match with Paige eventually. All she's got to do is just keep on winning, and eventually, she's going to get that title shot one way or another. Heyman, what the hell? I should be in that #1 contenders match tonight. You think you deserve a #1 contenders match? Christian, your performance since losing the title has been, well, laughable. You've lost every single high-profile match you've been put in. What's more, Ryback beat you at Money in the Bank. Give me one good reason why I should give you the match. Paul, please, if you give me the match, I promise I won't disappoint you. I know I can defeat Ryback. I just need one more chance. My answer is no. Until you prove to me that you deserve even a #1 contenders match, I refuse to give you the chance. However, out of respect for your accomplishments as a former World Heavyweight Champion, I will give you the opportunity to prove yourself. Tomorrow night, I am putting you in a King of the Ring qualifying match against Damien Sandow. If you can defeat him and show me a strong performance in the tournament, I might just give you the match. But now we move on to the main event, where we will determine the official #1 contender for Ryback's World Heavyweight Championship. That is right, Dolph Ziggler, he has been officially sidelined with an injury. The doctors, after that match with Ryback, they absolutely refuse to allow Dolph Ziggler to compete any longer. Dolph Ziggler, he's going to be out for several months with neck surgery. And that's unfortunate. I wish Dolph Ziggler the best of a speedy recovery, the best of luck. And I hope that we can see Dolph Ziggler back in the ring sooner rather than later. But as it stands, the show must go on. We must determine a new #1 contender for Ryback's World Heavyweight Championship. And tonight, we got 3 game competitors ready to go, as it's the Bulgarian Brute, the super athlete Rusev, the aggressive Rusev, set to take on this man, the former #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title prior to Ryback, the man who challenged Dolph Ziggler in a triple threat involving Daniel Bryan at Payback, and as well as that, in the TLC match at Money in the Bank, where Dolph Ziggler suffered his injury. You can definitely give some credit to Edge for that injury, as he was the one who took out the ladder from underneath Dolph Ziggler and left him suspended, hanging from the title, from which he fell directly onto his neck. So Edge, perhaps, you could say, you can give him credit for Dolph Ziggler's injury, and I'm sure Edge is going to take full credit to that. But not only that, Edge, now that Ziggler's lost the title, Edge is back into the running for the title. And unfortunately, his best friend Christian, I cannot say the same for him, as we saw earlier on, Paul Heyman. Yeah, he wasn't too satisfied with Christian's performance. And honestly, he's kind of right. Christian, he's going to have to do a little more work to get back in the title picture. I mean, just think about it. Paul Heyman brought up a very good point. Christian was defeated at Money in the Bank in a non-title match with Ryback, back before Ryback was the champion. So, if Christian couldn't defeat Ryback then, what's supposed to give Paul Heyman the incentive to book Christian into a title match with Ryback so suddenly? Even to give him this opportunity. I think these 3 men who we got standing here tonight, really, the title picture is already kind of crowded now that Ziggler's lost the gold. Christian's going to have to do a little more work to prove himself. So I can agree with Paul Heyman with that decision. And especially now that we have brought in this new superstar from Friday Night SmackDown in Randy Orton. Randy Orton, he is a former World Heavyweight Champion. He won the world title back at the previous SummerSlam in a Battle Royal. And not only that, but Randy Orton, he's got history with Ryback. The two feuded over the Intercontinental title back from October to December. They had a hellacious back and forth rivalry for that Intercontinental title. And in all occasions, Randy Orton came up short when the title was on the line. Although Team Orton did defeat Team Ryback last year at Survivor Series. So Randy Orton, he does hold a victory over Ryback. But that's irrelevant at this point in time, as this is a triple threat to determine the number one contender. Randy Orton, I guess we can start talking about him being the number one contender after he's won this match. Let's not jump to conclusions here, as we've got two other challengers here in this match who, quite honestly, have a very good chance at taking the fight to Ryback if given the opportunity. The question is, who is the strongest of these three? Who deserves the world title shot the most? We're going to find out here tonight, as Randy Orton with a back suplex there to Rusev, taking him down. And look, going into this match, as much as I would like to say Rusev is the favorite, considering he does hold a singles victory over Dolph Ziggler while he was the world champion, and I gotta be honest, he does deserve a title shot. I can't really argue with him, because just because that Paul Heyman doesn't want to give him the shot doesn't mean that Rusev doesn't deserve it. And it's even not that Paul Heyman doesn't want to give him the shot, it's just that I'm not sure exactly why Paul Heyman doesn't want to give him the opportunity. I mean, I think Rusev's deserving of the shot. He beat the world champ, but then again, at the same time, I can understand that at this point where we have these other challengers, and especially now that he brought in Randy Orton from SmackDown, you can't just go around and give people title shots willy-nilly. So I suppose I can agree with Paul Heyman on that, but honestly, to get back to what I was trying to say, I have to go with Randy Orton as the favorite to win this matchup, just because he's new from SmackDown, he's got that aggressiveness to him, he's got to make a good first impression, and he's already laid out Rusev with an RKO earlier on tonight. So Randy Orton, he's proven his worth, and he is a former World Heavyweight Champion. He's the only man in this match who has won the World Heavyweight title in Universe Mode. What more information do you need than that to pick out Randy Orton as the favorite here? And you see right now, Orton is doing a very smart thing here, just standing inside the ring while Edge and Rusev beat the crap out of each other. As Edge throws Rusev into the barricade, looking to wait counter by Rusev with a reverse DDT. But now Orton, Randy Orton, throwing Rusev now back in the ring. Randy Orton now getting himself involved in the action. He's tired of being a spectator. He wants to get himself involved in the fray. As European uppercut right there to Rusev. And now drives the elbow right into the face of Rusev. But now here's Edge. This is what'll happen in a triple threat matchup. You gotta watch your back at all times. And you gotta make sure that you keep both of your opponents down. I'd say the best option would be to get one of your opponents out of the ring. Hit them with a big move and just get rid of them. Dump them to the outside. As wait, Rusev into the cover on Edge. But Edge kicks out at one. The best idea would be to get one of your opponents on the outside and bring it down to a one-on-one matchup. But even in that case, you still got to keep your eyes peeled for that third man, because you never know when they can come in and just attack you from behind, and suddenly they're in control of the match, and whatever damage you've just done will be ultimately meaningless if the other opponent can just swoop in and just pick up the pieces. You could have somebody like Edge come in, hit the spear, but then if Orton can just catch him from behind with an RKO, just like that, all the work that Edge has done would just be ripped out of his hands. And now Rusev with a super kick right to the jaw of Randy Orton as the Viper is down. Could he be out? There's a cover, but Edge right there to break up the pinfall. And that's another thing. You gotta make sure that you take out that third man whenever you go for a pinfall. Otherwise, backbreaker by Orton. Otherwise, they're just gonna step in like Edge just did moments ago and break up the pinfall. It doesn't matter how big of a move you hit. It's gonna ultimately be meaningless if you can't capitalize on it. As now Rusev, backbreaker to Randy Orton. As Edge dumped to the outside. Randy Orton seems to be adhering to my strategy here, but Edge back into the ring now, as Rusev prevents Orton from capitalizing. Rusev putting him over there into the ropes. Now tosses him over the top. Rusev, what could he be looking for here? Well, we're never going to find out, because Edgecution! Edgecution. And now Orton, Randy Orton, takes Edge down with a back suplex. And now Randy Orton. Rusev is down. Orton setting Edge in position, looking for the RKO! RKO from the Viper as he hooks the leg. 1, 2, no. Rusev makes it back to his feet at just the last second and saves this match from being over. He keeps himself alive in this match, and his aspirations of being the World Heavyweight Champion, they're still intact. But for how much longer is that going to be the case? That was a very close call there for Rusev. Oh, now look at this. Rusev, he's got the accolade locked in on Edge. As Edge, well, Orton's there to break it up, but Edge just on the receiving end of some devastating punishment on the part of both of his opponents. Rusev with a counter, throwing Orton into the corner. Now perching him up on the top rope. Rusev, what in the world does he have in mind? Oh my goodness, look at this. Samoan drop from the top rope by Rusev. And now Rusev, what's he going to do here? Oh, what a disrespectful kick to the gut there by Rusev. Almost just taunting at the fans there. And Randy Orton himself perhaps thinking he was going to go for a low blow. Now look at this. Alabama slam to Edge. But Orton's back in this. And as he just hammers away off that Thez press. Randy Orton. Edge is down. He's got Rusev. Takes him over there to the ropes. Oh, and we're about to see some vintage Randy Orton right there with that DDT through the ropes. Oh, but now Edge. Edge with a neck breaker as Orton not even allowed to capitalize. Edge takes him back down. And now it's Edge on the attack. Look at this! Well, he went for a spear, but it looked as though Orton countered it into a DDT. And Edge back to his feet now. Look at this double suplex. No, counter! Double DDT instead by Randy Orton, as he was able to counter the attempted double suplex. Rusev now with a counter to Orton. As Rusev now, he's got Randy up. What is this? Fallaway slam by Rusev. Meanwhile, Edge looking perhaps for a counter by Rusev as he throws him off. Now a counter by Edge with a jawbreaker. And Rusev going up. No, wait, counter again. Neckbreaker this time by Rusev as it's back and forth between Rusev and Edge. Here's a cover. 2. No, but Orton just gets in there to break it up at the last possible second. Another close call for all three of these men. Another European uppercut by Randy Orton. But here's Rusev. Back suplex. The Viper goes down once more. And it's Rusev who now is in control. Both of his opponents are down. Now is the time for Rusev to go in for the kill. As he flips Orton over. Orton trying to get back to his feet. And now he does. As Rusev thrown over there into the turnbuckle. Though it's Rusev with a counter. And Rusev, you've got to be kidding me. He's going to put Orton back up on the top rope. Come on, Edge. You got to get in there and break this thing up. But of course, he's not going to do that. Why would he? I mean, Edge, the perfect strategy. Just stand there and watch as Rusev does all the damage to Randy Orton. And wait a minute. Look at this. Oh, Edge takes him down with a downward spiral. Rusev's face bouncing off the mat. And Edge, could he perhaps be going for the cover? Looking to pick up the win here. 2. No, Rusev. Rusev just kicks out at the last second. And that was about as close as Edge is going to come to getting the victory without actually getting it. I mean, Orton was down, but Edge, he just didn't do enough damage to keep Rusev down. And now Rusev to the outside. A backbreaker there from the Rated R Superstar. And now look at this! A Lion Salt from Edge as Rusev back into it. Edge shutting Rusev down. And now look at this! Execution for the second time to Rusev. Orton is down. Edge looking to capitalize as the ultimate opportunist could have just seized his opportunity. Yes, he does, folks. Randy Orton just a split second too late. And the Rated R Superstar seizes yet another opportunity. He's going on to Night of Champions to take on Ryback for the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge, he's defeated Ryback once before. Can he do it again when the title's on the line? Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to stay tuned for the next one. And until that episode, until the next video, keep on YouTubing. If you give me the match, I promise I won't